I'm Greg Euland, Marketing Director at Reynolds and Reynolds, and this is Connected, the podcast with best practices and ideas to help navigate the automotive retail industry in the world today. As the COVID-19 virus continues to change our world and how we live and work daily, this podcast discusses ways to continue operating in this unprecedented social environment. On today's episode, we have with us Jerry Kirwan, Vice President and General Manager of Reynolds Document Services. Jerry, thanks so much for joining.
Greg, glad to be here.
So, Jerry, today I'm hoping to get into some best practices that you're seeing dealers implement around precautions to help protect both their customers and their employees' safety and well-being. So to start, can you talk a little bit about what you're seeing in service departments around the country?
Sure. Yeah, right now we're seeing, a huge emphasis, as you might guess, on personal hygiene. So we're seeing the service departments take extra steps to make sure that their customers are reassured that they're doing the things that they can to help improve the whole personal hygiene side of the service area. So you're seeing precautions, some of which they were doing before, others they've added, the steering wheel covers, the seat covers, the mats. But I think what they're doing now that's a little bit different, they're making sure customers see those products before they deliver the car. So the customer will, get that reassurance that these personal hygiene products are being used in the service of their vehicles.
Very good, very good. So to dive a little bit deeper on the products there, you mentioned a couple of kind of obvious ones, right? The seat covers, steering wheel covers, those high touch areas. Have there been any surprise items where demand has gone up that maybe you wouldn't have thought of before, but just dealers are diving into now?
Right, the obvious ones, right? I don't think, at least on the automotive side, MedPass is different, but on the automotive side, we never sold face masks. We're selling face masks today. Acrylic shields for, contact with customers. We're putting up these shields between an associate working in the dealership and a customer that they might be communicating to. So these are, things that we didn't, we're looking at now, putting together I'm going to laugh at this, but basically it sanitizes the stylus pen for the DocuPad station. So customers get reassurance that, there's not bad things on the stylus when I'm asked to sign the document on the DocuPad station for, the car purchase. Yeah. So yeah, it's just these things bring out some unusual needs, and we're trying to adapt to those needs and take care of our customers.
Good. So another thing you mentioned a minute ago, Jerry, was making sure that customers kind of see that the products are being used. Obviously, there's a lot of benefits to making sure that precautions are taken. One of them, though, is peace of mind for customers. Any other ways or maybe specific processes to follow to make sure that customers know the precautions that the dealership's taking?
Well, one of the things that's been really popular for us recently, these last couple of weeks, has brought out the need for a dealership to communicate to their customers what they're doing to provide those assurance. So what we're doing to help our dealer customers is send out direct mail communications, email communications to their customers with a whole COVID-19 kind of, here's what we're doing, here's the new hours of the dealerships, we're still open, reminders, just a really informative piece on what the dealerships are doing on behalf of their customers. So that's been something we've had to gear up as a result of the situation we find ourselves in.
Sure, that makes complete sense. Jerry, what about in the sales department? So for dealers that are continuing operations there in one way or another, what kind of precautions are you seeing again across the country, and any specific things that stand out to you?
Well, again, dealerships are finding unique ways to take care of their customers. So we're finding in the sales department that they're basically being much more disciplined about appointments for test drives. They're bringing cars out to people's homes. They're reassuring them how they're essentially sanitizing the vehicles before a test drive. We're seeing a lot of delivery of new car vehicles that are being delivered to the home instead of having a customer come to the dealership to pick up a new car. They're doing trades. They're going out to do trade evaluations. A lot more negotiating through email, believe it or not, and on the phone. So there's much fewer person-to-person kind of interaction, and now it's distance. It's phone, it's email, it's delivering a car to a person's personal home instead of having people come out in the dealership. So we're doing all those kinds of things to test drive documentation stuff, and we're doing all those things to help support these new innovations, I guess. I don't know that they're really new, but we're seeing a lot more activity of these kinds of processes than we did prior to the COVID-19 deal.
Good. And then what about kind of looking internally in the Reynolds Document Services business, Jerry? How has the current environment changed operations for you?
Oh my, so you have a couple of sides of the coin, right? On the manufacturing side in Salina, we've got 400 plus employees up there that the vast majority, probably 80% of the employees have to be in the plant. We gotta make stuff, right? We do have our customer service. Some of our artists are able to work from home, and so we are doing some remote work there. But what we've done is we've kind of taken precautions inside the manufacturing side. We're taking someone's temperature before they come into the plant. We're asking them to take their temperature at home. We have social distancing in the plant by itself because of the nature of the work. There's very few pieces of equipment where it takes two people to operate them. So the social distancing thing is kind of natural within the manufacturing environment. So that part's taken care of. But the manufacturing part has been a challenge because we work 3 shifts. There's significant concern, about the spread. And I think what we've been able to do is reassure, our associates that we're taking the extra sanitizing, the extra steps to make sure that we have a safe work environment. On the support side, from a marketing and operation standpoint, that's been a little bit different because we basically had to go from working in a cubed office environment where collaboration is really easy. You just turn around and talk to the person you need to work with and to get things done. That, everybody's working remotely, essentially. The one group that we can't really work remote, and they've had to improvise, is our MedPass team. And the MedPass team is basically working every other day on alternating shifts so that, again, we're reducing how much time people would be near another one. We have the social distancing thing down, but we're just trying to minimize the amount of interaction that somebody might have to, increase the risk of any exposure.
Very good. Well, Jerry, I definitely appreciate you taking some time out of your day to chat for a few minutes. Before we hop off, we have the audience. Is there anything else that you would want to touch on at all?
No, I just I want to thank all of our employees who are diligently doing what they can to help support the business, support our customers, and of course take care of each other. This is really unique. One day we're going to look back at this and say, do you remember in 2020? And we'll get through all this. I'm sure we will, and we'll be better for it. So no, the only other message I would have is that just hang in there. We're going to get all through this, and we're going to come up better as a result.
Yep, absolutely. Well, Jerry, thanks again for your time. I really do appreciate it.
Sure, Greg. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
You too. This has been Connected. Stay safe, and we'll see you on the next episode.